Hello friends, Angel Santiago here. I hope you're doing well on this wonderful Friday morning or soon to be afternoon, depending where you're at. I want to take a moment to share with you some thoughts about success and failure. And when it comes to success, success is really, from what I've experienced, it's an integral part of success. There are like the steps or some of the steps that we're going to go through in order to get to our success, once we've identified where we're going. And so to say that you have a fear of failure, it's really, to me, more like you're saying you're afraid of success. Because if you're not willing to fail or you don't want to deal with failure, then it may be that you'll never get to success. Because if failure is an integral part, or there are the steps leading up to success, and you don't want to go through those, how would you get to success? It's kind of like the stops along the way, right? So to say that you have a fear of failure, it's not really fear of failure. What we really have to look at is, what has been my relationship with failure up to this point? Or what has been my associations that I have with failure up to this point? More specifically, how do I define failure? Oftentimes, in calls with clients, I ask that question: what is your definition of failure? And they're like, you know what? That's a good question. I don't know. I've never thought about that. So taking the time to do an assessment of what do you believe failure is, how do you define failure, how do you know to recognize failure? To tell you the truth, more than likely, you're living your life based on the conclusions that a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old created about what failure is, based on the experiences that he or she had when he was that age, or when you were that age, right? So have you taken the time to update that? How do you want to see failure today? How does the adult that you are today want to see failure? And how do you want to use it as a way to help you get to where you want to go? For example, I was on a call with a client the other day, and the client was experiencing fear of failure, right? They started a new project, a new task, a new goal, and they're going after it. They're at the very beginning of their journey, and they're already thinking, what if I fail? This is what failure will look like, right? I don't want this to happen. I'm afraid that this will happen if I try it, as I go after it. I don't want this to happen, and that could be anything. It depends on you. So I asked the person to tell me a time in their life where they've experienced huge failure. And they thought about it, and nothing really came to mind. It's like, I guess I could say I've never really experienced failure. I said, okay, then tell me a time when you've experienced huge success. And they're like, well, I really haven't had that. So what I define success, I really haven't gotten there yet. I'm on my way. That's what I'm trying to do. I said, okay, so you don't know what failure will look like. You don't know what success will look like, but yet you're already creating in your mind, you're already picturing what failure looks like. So instead, why don't you use your same mental energy, that same time you're using to think, to picture what success will look like? Wouldn't that be more helpful to you? Because you don't know what either one looks like, but you're already picturing what failure would look like. So why not picture what success will look like? So I want you to do an exercise. I want you to pause this video in just a second, and I want you to go to Google and go to the web browser. So go to Google, go to the web browser, and then come back to this video. Now that you have the Google web browser up, what I want you to type in there is, I don't want red shoes in my life. I don't want red shoes in my life. And before you hit enter, again, the red shoes signify, or they represent, that thing that you don't want to happen in your life, whatever that may be. So again, go to Google, go to the web browser, type that in, hit enter, and then go to images, and then come back to this video. What did you see? Did you see a whole bunch of red shoes in Google? Yes, you probably did. And when I do this exercise, people or my clients often say, well, how could that be? Like, I told Google that I didn't want that, right? Well, Google has an algorithm that is set up to look for the key word. And the key word in that search query, is red shoes. So guess what? That's what it's gonna give you. Now, God, the universe, source, whatever that relationship is to you, works the same way. You know, we're in relationship with that intelligence or that beingness or that essence. We can create our reality with it. We have to be in relationship with it, right? So if my focus is failure, or in this case, red shoes, well, source, universe, God is gonna say, all right, let's create that reality together. Let's give you failure, right? Or let's give you red shoes. But what if I change my focus, right? So go back to Google, right? And type in, I love blue shoes. I want blue shoes in my life, right? You're gonna get blue shoes because that's what your focus is. So my point with this is, what is your focus? Because whatever you focus on, you will attract, you will create, you will expand, you will strengthen, you will create more of that. And if you think about it, what percentage of the day do you spend time thinking about the thing that you don't want to happen in your life? Oh, I don't want bills, I don't want debt, I don't want failure. And you probably spent 80 to 90% of your day thinking about that. And then how much time is left to really think about what you do really want? 10%, 20% of your day? Shift your focus. Start focusing on what you do want, and you'll have a different experience. So again, think about what failures are for. What is the purpose of failure? Is to help you along the way, to help you get there. Failure says, hey, I tried something and it didn't yield the outcome that I thought it was gonna be. Why that is? What happened? Let me retrace my step. Let me swim upstream and find out where did things go wrong? What could I do better? What is this trying to show me that I didn't see before, so that I don't make that same mistake again? And then it becomes a learning process, right? There is a learning process, especially when you start anything new. You know, adults have this expectation that when they start anything new that they've never done before, if they don't get it the first time or the first few times, they suck. This is not meant for me. I'm horrible at this. Who said that? You're starting something new that you've never done before. Of course you're gonna suck. It's part of the learning process. It's part of the learning curve. The learning curve or the learning process doesn't skip you as an adult just because you think that it should, right? The learning process is there for a reason. So to say, well, what gave you the idea that you were gonna get it the first time? I usually often get this answer. Well, because I'm an adult and I should just know better. No, you should not know better. You don't know better because you've never done this before. So you're gonna have to go through the process of learning, adapting, practicing, getting better, getting it in your system, making sure that it's a habit, and then you'll get there. But you're not gonna get there right away. So again, there's a learning process. Failures are essential, they're needed. They're stepping stones to get to your success, and you don't know when you're gonna experience. You may experience failure after doing the same thing 1,000 times. You may still have failure there. So don't worry about that. Just know that success is coming. Define what success is, define where you're going, be clear about that, and work your way there, knowing that there are stepping stones to get there, okay? And failure is one of them. So again, I hope you found this video helpful, and I wish you many blessings along your path. Take care.